Hi, hello, and welcome to pretending that I didn't forget to film my intro and now I have to leave for work. Yes, I read It Ends With Us at the beginning of the year and I said I would never read another Colleen Hoover book as long as I live because I hated it so much. And then the new one came out that was like not a sequel, but like connected to the other Colleen Hoover book. So I did a poll on my Instagram and I was like, should I read it and give it a review or should I just read more quality books in my life? And it was 100% voted that I should read it and give it a scathing review. So here I am. So that's my intro. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna leave it up to previous Amanda and her little silly rant.
Let me tell you about little Colleen Hoover. Let me tell you about my bestie, Colleen. The first book is called It Ends With Us, and it's about this girl. Her name is Lily. She owns a flower shop in Boston. It's the best flower shop that you ever did see. And she used to be like a businesswoman, and now she owns this flower shop. Cue this man named Ryle, who meets her, and he's like, wow, she's so beautiful. I have to sleep with her. I have to have a one-night stand with this woman because he's a surgeon and he only has one-night stands, okay? He only has, hi Bonite. He only has one-night stands and he's like, you're really hot and I want to have a one-night stand with you. And she's like, I really only do relationships. He is like committed to trying to get her to have a one-night stand with him. He literally like knocks on every single door in her apartment building to find her and ask her out on a date and like shows up to her place of business all the time, and I'm like, I don't know about you, I don't find that endearing, I find that gross. Everyone else in the goddamn world finds this romantic? I don't understand. Anyway, they bone and she is like, yeah, I'm that good at sex, and he's like, actually I do want to have a relationship with you because you're so hot. So they have a relationship and then he like starts to freaking assault her and she's like, okay, that was kind of awful and if you ever do that again, I'm gonna leave you. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, that was a one-time thing, I promise that'll never happen again, like I'm so sorry. Doesn't see a therapist because why would any man do that? And then assaults her several other times, like throws her down the stairs. She ends up in the hospital. They're married, by the way. They go get married in Vegas. Okay, so that's the first book. And like, obviously we're not supposed to find Ryle attractive after he starts hitting her. But like, the fact that like we were supposed to find him attractive when he was begging to have sex with her is very weird to me. So that's the first love interest of the first book. We gotta get into the other dude, which is part of the reason why Ryle started assaulting her in the beginning. She would write letters to Ellen about her life, and her mom gave her the letters so that she could read these letters and like reminisce, which is basically just how Colleen Hoover figured out how to like put the backstory in, because she couldn't figure out how to do that without just being like, hi Ellen, today I went to school and I met a man. There are better ways. Anyway, in her past, when she was a little 15-year-old, she met this dude on the bus who goes to her school. His name was Atlas. He always smelled. She found out he was homeless. She decided like, hey, like use my amenities, use my shower, like I want to help you like get better and like figure out your situation. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, great. Atlas is 18. He's still in high school, but he's 18 at this point and he's homeless. They start to have a relationship and I don't think it would have been weird. Obviously 15-year-olds and 18-year-olds have relationships in high school all the time. I would not have thought it was that weird, except Colleen Hoover makes it a fact to constantly have Atlas ask her when she turns 16. That's gross. That's so gross. Being like, oh, so you're only 15 and a half, so we can't fuck? That's not, I hate that. If she hadn't mentioned it, if she had just been like, and they were in high school and they were dating, I would be like, bit weird to date the homeless man, but whatever, I'll give it to you, sure. He'll be like, and then he asked me when I turned 16 and I told him in 3 months and he looked away sadly. I fucking hate that. So she'll be reading these journals and she'll be reminiscing and then she accidentally runs into Atlas and he's like, hey, like I'm glad we're both doing good, you know, I'm glad we're both happy with our lives at this point. Ryle is apparently very jealous because he reads the journals, and that's why he starts assaulting her. So the end, we find out that Lily is pregnant, she has a daughter, she decides, I'm gonna get a divorce from Ryle because the line of abuse stops here. It ends with us. I'm gonna make sure that this daughter never suffers the way I have, right? So that's how it ends. Why is there a book 2? I am convinced that there is only a book 2 because Colleen was like, oh dang, I didn't expect this to get that popular, and now it is really popular, so I guess I should write a second book. Book 2 is called It Starts With Us. And objectively, listen, before I shit on this book, because I'm about to tear it apart, I'm about to give it a scathing review, I would say that Colleen Hoover could have redeemed herself. She did not do that, but she had a chance. Because yeah, listen, the writing is not that good, but also it is borderline trashy romance novel. I'm not expecting the writing to be good. I am upset that Colleen is like, oh, I'm doing something here, you know? Like, I'm talking about abuse, I'm putting it out there. I feel like she thinks that she's like doing this. She could have had a great moment where Lily is like, I'm on my own now, meets a completely random dude, and also, like, we discuss like what it is to heal from an abusive partner. But instead, the scathing review is about to begin. Lily now lives in an apartment by herself, and she still works at the flower shop. She's her only support system, but also is Ryle's sister, and still thinks that they could like make it work if they really tried. And like, listen, I have a brother. Don't know if you know, I have a brother. If my brother put his partner in the emergency room, I would not be speaking to my brother ever fucking again. She still thinks that they'll work it out, and I think that that's not really a great support system then, because it's not really supporting you. So we start off with that. We find out that like Ryle is still in her life, and I was like, well, bestie, what do you mean by that? And apparently they just got a divorce, and she was like, I still think it's important for him to see his child. And I'm like, dude, the man that assaulted you, you want him to see your child? And she's like, well, obviously I don't allow him overnight visits because I don't trust him yet. But he has been really good, and sometimes it makes me wonder if I made the right decision at all. And I'm like, okay, like, I guess we could still, listen, Colleen Hoover can still turn it around. She can still take this, she can still turn it around, because she could be like, this is, you know, part of the whole recovery process. Like, we could just make Lily go to therapy and Lily discuss this with her therapist and be like, I still have feelings for Ryle and I feel conflicted about this. And her therapist would be like, that's understandable. You did love him. However, let us not forget that he did hurt you very badly. So while you might still have feelings for him, that's why you're at therapy, so you can overcome these feelings. Also, Lily just says random things. Like, she'll be like, I don't really want to work in my flower shop anymore. I'm kind of done with flowers. And then like, that's all we hear about it. She just goes, I don't really want to be in the flower business anymore. And then nothing else is brought up about it ever again. It's just like out there. And like, again, with this, she'll be like, sometimes I think maybe Ryle isn't such a bad dude and maybe I made a mistake. And then that's like the only time that it's mentioned. And then never again. And it's like, okay, I guess you could just leave that thought hanging in the air. Fuck it. Who cares, right? I don't know. So we've also found out that Ryle still has a key to her apartment, and that also one of the only reasons that she didn't bring him to court is because her lawyer said that since he's a surgeon, she wouldn't win over custody. And I'm like, that's just not true. Because also, yes, he's a surgeon, so objectively he makes more money than her working at her flower shop. Also, not sure though, because apparently this is the best flower shop in Boston, so she's probably making bank. Boston is a big city with lots of rich people. Whatever, I digress. So they're like, oh, well, you wouldn't have won custody battle. And also, she apparently didn't want to ruin his career. She was like, oh, well, I don't want to ruin his career as a surgeon by bringing this to court and saying that he hit me and send me to the hospital and put me downstairs, because I probably won't even get custody. And I'm like, you would absolutely get custody. You literally have scars and a hospital visit to prove that he has hurt you. You would get custody. Why is this a plot problem, you know? The whole point of Ryle being here is to move the plot along, because the whole reason that he's here makes no goddamn sense. Because her reasoning is, well, I can't get rid of Ryle because if I brought it to court, I wouldn't win. Which obviously is not true, because obviously the court would not go, well, he makes more money than you, despite the fact that his schedule schedule is completely inconsistent because he's a surgeon. You work at a flower shop, you work at a 9 to, anyway, it's so, Ryle still has a key to her apartment and she feels uncomfortable with this, but she also doesn't want to tell him to give it back because she doesn't want to get attacked, and I'm like, bestie, I'm worried for you. I don't like this at all. So that's like the first chapter. The next point of view we get is Atlas, which objectively, I don't really like dual point of views, but it's fine. We're not gonna hate on that. There are so many other things to hate on in this book. And he is talking to his best friend's child. His best friend's child apparently wants to be a therapist in the future, so he's just using him as a therapist. I don't know why this is something that Colleen Hoover put in her book. Why would you have this adult man treat this 12-year-old like his actual therapist? Is it quirky? It's just weird because he will genuinely be like, oh, I'll be talking to my therapist about this later. And it's like, that is a boy. That is a 12-year-old boy who wants to be a therapist. Listen, when I was 12, I wanted to be a marine biologist and explore the big deep ocean. I do not want to do that anymore at all. All of these characters should really seek real therapy, and it just upsets me that Atlas is like, oh yes, my therapist. And it's like, that is a 12-year-old child. Atlas and Lily reconnect in this book, and honestly, nothing happens. The plot of this book is so very vague. It's basically just Atlas and Lily getting together. Ryle is just this force that is pushing them together because he'll come and he'll be angry and she'll like run to Atlas's arms and be like, Ma. And Atlas has no personality, okay? Lily, I don't resonate with her at all. It's just the characters are very one note and this book is very shallow, and she had a great opportunity to really like talk about like, you know, abuse and the healing process, because that fucking sucks, you know? Like, that's a really hard thing. And instead, she just used abuse as like this plot point to get Atlas and Lily together. And then once they were together, like, there was nothing going on. The entire book was just them being in love. And like, it didn't give me butterflies. I just have a lot of problems with it because Atlas is supposed to be the better choice. And I just feel like throughout the book, he's constantly telling Lily and constantly telling us about how much Lily saved him and like how much he loves Lily because Lily really saved him. And like, that seems to be the only reason why he wants to be with her. So it just like feels weird and manipulative to be like, oh my god, you've saved me, like without you I'd be nothing, like I just love you so much. It's like they've been dating for a month and a half and he's like, so when will you move in with me? When can I propose to you? Like when can our lives start together? And it's like, she just got out of an abusive relationship. I just would have loved if Lily had healed for half the book and then had like a little meet cute with some dude and like they start to learn about each other. I feel like it's weird to make Atlas love interest because for one, all he does is talk about how much she saved him. For two, I don't like the whole dynamic that they had when they were younger. I think it's weird that they're dating now. And then for three, it's just the characters had nothing bringing them together except this mutual trauma that they shared when they were younger. Despite that whole scenario, the romance just didn't do it for me. At the beginning, she's like, I'm healing mentally from my abusive marriage, like I really just need to take this slow. And he was like, yes, no, absolutely, I totally understand. And then they proceed to like not take it slow at all, but she's saying she wants to take it slow and he's literally asking her when they can get married, which I also don't think is taking it slow, you know? And then I have so many issues with her best friend. I don't know if her best friend is just supposed to be quirky and like fun. Again, if I was the sister, I would never talk to my brother again if he abused his partner. Would never talk to him again. That's not okay. And the fact that she still wants them to be together while she's supposed to be like Lily's support character also is gross to me. And then also like at one point she's literally just like, well, like, did you cheat on him or something? Because I don't know why he would act this way because like he's my brother and I kind of just know that he like wouldn't do this without a cause. So Lily is like talking to her and she's like, what should I do? Because I've kind of started dating Atlas and I'm really worried that if Ryle finds out, he'll hurt me. And she's like, I don't know, just text him and tell him to deal with it. And it's like, do you not understand at all what happened to her? Like, do you just not care? There's a moment where she's picking her daughter up from their house and Ryle is there and Ryle is like, can we please talk on the roof? And she just lets her go by herself. She knows that Ryle has hurt her. And she's like, yeah, go to the roof. I'll be here if you need me. I don't understand why Colleen Hoover couldn't have just written a character that actually supported Lily. They're like, Lily has so much support. Lily had so much support to leave Ryle. She had no support. Then Atlas had this whole side thing where he like found out he had a brother and started like taking care of his brother, and I feel like that was only in there to make Atlas look good. Like 90% of this is just trying to make Atlas look better, to forget that he literally had sex with a 15-year-old. When she finally tells Ryle that she wants her key back and also she's dating Atlas, or he finds out because he lets himself into the apartment because he has a key and he sees that there are 2 wine glasses, and he literally attacks her, and she's like, wow, he really hasn't changed. I think I'm gonna make him go to anger management before he sees my daughter. And I'm like, you should have been doing that from the beginning. I don't understand why every character in this is so stupid, and I don't get it. You should have been doing that from the beginning. You should have never even let Ryle near her. The only reason that she said that Ryle is even allowed near her daughter is because she doesn't think she would win a court case. So anyway, they have this like little convention, and they're like, you need to go to anger management, and his sister's like, I'm just really worried about you. In order to see his daughter, he should have had to go to therapy, and anger management had monitored visits for like the first year of her life. I don't understand. I don't understand why. This book is supposed to be like Lily's healing, and Lily does no healing. All she does is talk about how much she's in love with Atlas. Atlas does no healing. All he does is talk to a 12-year-old boy, call him his therapist, and talk about how much Lily saved him. Ryle's sister is inexcusably terrible. The romance for me was not there. The writing for me was not there. The characters for me were not there, and just like, they don't do anything. The world building doesn't exist because it's like Boston, and they don't do anything except for talk about their love for each other. Like, Atlas this entire time is just so deep in his love for Lily. He literally buys a house that he thinks Lily will enjoy because it has a back garden, hoping that Lily eventually calls him and tries to get together with him. Like, he spends 90% of his life waiting for Lily, which also, like, hey, why do none of these characters have anything going on in their lives? I don't understand. He's just like, I feel absolutely unfulfilled without her, and I'm just like, you should feel fulfilled with your life. You're a great chef. You own 2 restaurants. Why is it your entire personality is just loving Lily, and why is Lily's entire personality is just like loving you, and why does no one have any depth to their characters? I read It Ends With Us, and I was like, I'm never gonna read another Colleen Hoover book again. I'm done. This was terrible. I am angry. And I then put it up to an Instagram vote, and I was like, hey guys, should I read the next one? And then everyone said, please read it and give a scathing review. So this is me. I read it. I didn't like it.